Thank you for rejoining us. It's still AM today on Osrc television. We are now at the discussion segment of the program. So, I took a time how to check what the administration of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has promised the people of Ondo State, particularly during his second term in office. He came into power and, of course, championed the agenda captioned or encapsulated as the redeemed agenda. In that redeemed agenda, the four E's, when you take a look at the spelling of the redeemed agenda of the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu's administration. And one of the four E's in that agenda is effective healthcare and social welfare. This morning, we're being joined by the Director General of the Ondo State Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Abiodun Oyeneyi, and we're taking a look at Ondo Health interventions, Ilera Loro, and the expectations of the people. Dr. Abiodun Oyeneyi, good morning and thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning, glad to be here.
So, it's been a while, some time now that you've started this task of leading the Ondo State Contributory Health Commission, and it's also about government's desire, government's commitment to giving people access to care in a different way, which is quite not regular. That's the health insurance and all of the schemes that you rolled out. But one is also still in attention at the time. It's the Ilera Loro initiative. Tell us about that.
Thank you. Like you rightly mentioned, the Commission commenced operation 2019, and so many activities. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund program. It's a program that is an offshoot of the National Health Act of 2014, set aside to provide health insurance. An advocate of Nigeria, CON, flagged up that scheme, and we brought on board 19,806 vulnerables in our midst. We enrolled them across the 203 wards in Ondo State as mandated by the guideline. And the beneficiaries include widows, of reproductive age group, and pregnant women. The program has been very successful, going on very well, and the beneficiaries actually the effort of the current administration. 2022, we commenced the Orange Health Insurance Scheme. So by early 2023, we got another disbursement to enable us bring more people on board. Those currently roll them over because health insurance is a yearly policy program. So as long as you still reside in the state, in the ward, then you continue. So that's what we have. We have provision to add additional 25,000 indigent people in our midst to that program.
All right, we'll speak about that addition of 25,000 persons to that particular scheme. So let's dig deep into some of the things you've highlighted. Starting 2021, that's the Basic Health Provision Fund program. Codenamed Ilera Loro. Started 2021, enrolled about 19,800 plus persons. Now, you spoke about the category of people who are involved in all of this.
Yes.
And one would wonder, how did you get those 19,000?
Thank you very much. Any program always have guideline. And the guideline stipulates that we have two means of identifying the eligible beneficiaries. One is using what we call the social register. We are mindful that there is a program in the country where poor households are identified. So there is a national register, which is a cumulation of each state register of indigent households. So we mined data from that register. So we mine the one that fall under this category of widows, elderly, people with disabilities, pregnant women and children under 5. After mining that data, we now made the data available to the Ward Development Committee and the OICs at the different wards. We included the royal fathers. We also included the local government chairman to validate that data, because data is dynamic. Somebody that lives today to do data validation. Are these people genuinely living in the world? Are they really indigent? Maybe at the time of having that list, maybe they were indigent. Now maybe they are gainfully employed. So we sieved it. And because the number we are looking for is so small compared to the total number of poor people, population in those states is roughly close to 5 million. And the number we are looking for at that time was just 19,000.
So it has to be the poorest.
So it has to be the poorest. We embarked on that exercise. And over the period, we also do constant validation to make sure that we go into the community to know that it's not a cocoa farmer that is rich and is planning to have another wife that is on the scheme because he's not educated. So we don't depend on education, that we depend on using the criteria by the World Bank used to identify poor and vulnerable people in the society.
Okay, look, you just said that means a minor part or proportion of the total population of the vulnerable and the poor, are on this list. But what happens to a poor person who probably could have been on that list but needs to access healthcare? Is there any consideration for such?
Yes, the plan really is to keep expanding the coverage till we cover a reasonable number of indigent people. If you read in the news sometime last year, the past president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, reflected on the plan of the federal government to bring in about 84 million Nigerians under the insurance plan. I strongly believe that the current administration, ably led by President Tinubu, is also working in that light to ensure that they put funds aside, they talk to donor agencies, Bill and Melinda Gates, philanthropists, the likes of Dangote, to put money together to be able to cover them. But this thing will be done in stages and phases. And that's why with the disbursement that we have this year, can cover additional 25,000, making it about 45,000. You can see that the number is growing. And the beauty of it is that we can use healthcare to pull people out of poverty. So if somebody hitherto, there may be a peasant farmer, that if the son takes ill, we use it to pay hospital bill. Now the person is protected from that kind of catastrophic expenditure. So he can use the money to re-engineer the business and grow out of poverty. So we are beginning to see it. The hospitals are being patronized. Our primary health care centers now have monthly disbursement. We just did an exercise recently, monitoring and evaluation, and we saw some of the things that were bought from the proceeds, the equipment that they need, the laboratory equipment that they need. So this effort is complementing the effort of government. As government is assisting the hospitals, we are also mobilizing resources, pushing it into the hospitals to ensure that our hospitals become centers of excellence. Most of our hospitals now have solar power to power 24 hours their operations.
Last question, particularly around the PHC, the primary health care centers that we are, collaborating with to ensure that these people have access to the Health is Wealth initiative. Now you said some of these monies they give you that channel. Do you have any, perhaps, laid down guideline that says these funds, when you get them, these are some of the things you should use, them for, or it's a discretion of these primary health care centers?
Yeah, thank you for that very beautiful question. The provision stipulates that 50% of the funds that they receive, because we pay them monthly capitation, depending on the total number of beneficiaries allocated to them, is used to procure drugs. So they also have about 15% for human resource. So there are some of the PHCs that have temporary staff, ad hoc staff, midwives that has been hired by the state, and they augment their salaries with some of the funds. Some of the funds is also for buying laboratory consumables. You want to do malaria test, blood PCV test, then they can buy consumables. Part of the money is also for minor renovations. If they, some of them do not have fence, they can use part of the money to secure the place, do painting and make it look attractive to the, and also conducive for the staff and for the clients. We also have what they call the administrative charge that we also pay to the facilities to ensure that they can buy station, because they need to send their reports to us on a monthly basis. They can put on data, they can have internet connectivity, and we are already seeing the impact across the 18 local governments.
All right, Dr. Abiodun Oyeneyi, now let's go to the, because people really want to be kept abreast of exactly at the Ilera Loro scheme, because say government said providing interventions, you can access health and all of that, but really, what's on the card for the people?
In health insurance, we talk about the benefit package, because there is no health insurance cover that cover all diseases globally. But the one we have in Nigeria is what we call the basic minimum package of health services that covers outpatient care, cover minor ailments, cover admissions, cover chronic diseases like hypertension, and also cover surgeries. The beauty of it is that the primary healthcare level kind of care is limited in the kind of services that they can provide. So if there are levels of care like surgeries, or maybe they need to do cesarean section, or somebody is having multiple, to a second layer secondary care facility like the general hospitals. And we will also go ahead to pick the bills. It may interest you to know that about 2 months ago, the neck of the
to the oranges, which is the
health insurance scheme for public servants was flagged off 27th of September 2022 by Mr. Governor. Relationship with about 45 of them. We have 95,001 servant, the spouse, and 4 biological children below the age of 18 as stipulated by law. So we've enrolled the over 46,000 public servants and also their dependent expenditure. And to me, I believe that we are achieving our goal.
Some public servants, yeah, you actually commend the
over and over again, even before the commencement of the prebu, the same thing. Because when it comes to the issue of the husband is a public servant, the wife is a public servant, the question around 50,000 maybe prostatectomy, and the wife could require.
Since this are not, I know there must have been some things that you have your partners.
Kudos to the commission for 200,000 under the health insurance over this short period. So I must use this opportunity to thank the staff that are running the show, supporting me, to absolute support from the administration, ably led by Mr. Governor. We get support from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, and other Permanent Secretary within the health sector, and also the Head of Service and other leaders in the field, the Accountant General, the Commissioner for Finance. Be that as it may, there to go, make sure that people enroll, which we have done. Now allocating them to hospitals, that we have done. Ondo State is not immune to exodus of health workers. So by the time you bring a large number, it puts also pressure on the healthcare service delivery arm, both on the government and on the private. But on the flip side, that's also an advantage because now they have the opportunity to recruit more health workers at the private level. And at the government level, if you check the news lately, Mr. Governor approved that 1,000 health workers should be engaged, and the advert is already out. So I encourage health workers to go and get the form so that they can also come on board, so that we can address the issue of maybe waiting time. Some hospitals have large numbers of enrollee base, like the teaching hospital, because people believe so much in them. But we are working with them to ensure that we reduce the waiting time. The other issue is also drugs. But luckily for us, we have the Drug Management Agency come to our rescue now. In October, they've started distributing drugs to all our facilities. So things are easing up, and we believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
So, Dr. Abiodun, let's just close with this because time is fast out. The 25,000 new enrollees is currently ongoing. When's the deadline for that? Quickly.
We're doing it senatorial district by senatorial. So we've completed that of the northern senatorial zone. We've completed that of the southern senatorial zone. For the one for the central senatorial zone commences today and is for 2 weeks. So we are working with all stakeholders. They've actually formed. All we are going around is to do physical data capturing to authenticate that they actually live there and also validate that they are poor and vulnerable and they should be on the scheme.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Dr. Abiodun Oyene, the Director General, Ondo State Contributory Health Commission. It's been shedding light on the Ilera Loro Health Intervention and, of course, some of the other packages within the Health Commission. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiodun Oyene, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
We wish you all the best in that task of ensuring that we reduce out-of-pocket spending. It's time to take a break once again. We'll be back with something quite important also. Please stay.